Hi, I'm Mary Calvi, and thanks for tuning in. This evening, we celebrate the heroes of an organization that started out as a little engine that could, but which can no longer be called little. Since 1982, part of the solution has brought together people from all walks of life who believe in action, not just words, who want to really put an end to poverty and who see their Bronx neighbors as fellow human beings who, if the situation were reversed, would be coming to their aid. They are people with an open door and an open heart. And tonight, we ask you to join with them in this amazing quest. Whether it's the first time you've ever heard of POTS or if you've been involved for decades, you're in for a treat. I'm not exaggerating when I say that you'll learn and laugh and cry tonight. And if you're impressed by what you see, I hope you will resolve to donate time over the next year as a POTS volunteer, as well as make a generous gift tonight by clicking on the donate link on your screen. The POTS board has covered all events expenses, so 100% of your donation will go to support POTS programs. And don't forget to bid on our silent auction. Let's start by meeting POTS client liaison Juan Nunez, who will take us on a tour of POTS.
Hi everybody, my name is Juan. Welcome to POTS. I'm about to give you a tour of the facilities, so come with me, let's go. So yeah, this is the community dining room. As you can see, this is pretty much where we do all the bagging. We prepare all the food for the lunch in the afternoon. So from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11:30, we hand out the monthly pantries, and this is the monthly pantry mountain right here. All right. So most of the bagging is done on Saturdays. So we have a group of amazing volunteers that come here on a Saturday and put in the work, and I mean, it's a lot of work. So they build this up here for us to distribute during the week. So this is the kitchen, right? Amazing Chef Leroy here, and this is one of the volunteers. This is where all the food gets prepared that we hand out in the afternoon. People used to come in and it used to be like a supermarket style where people would roam around and pick the food themselves. Now this is a storage area for the pantry. This is probably one of the coolest things that we do here at POTS. This is a place where folks can collect mail that they don't have access to a home and don't have access to. They may be living in a shelter. They don't trust where they live, right? Because that's really tough. So we help people come here and pick up their mail. My desk, my area, I'm pretty much the person that connects each of the clients that come to POTS, whether it's from the line or most of the time they either call, if they don't get to speak to me, they leave a message or they'll text me. So whatever it is that they're looking for, I connect them to each department. The case managers that help folks, apply for SNAP, whatever public benefits people may qualify for, they're the ones that help them throughout the process. And they do other work too. They don't just help people apply for SNAP. Like they help people read through certain documents or applications that don't have any knowledge, or like clients need help like sorting through Section 8 documents or things like that. They help them also with that. This is Jack, our amazing. Oh, the legal clinic, they provide probably the most vital work from POTS. They help people stay in their homes. Like their main goal is to help people, prevent them from being evicted, but not only that, they help people that are dealing with rent arrears. They help people that are dealing with predatory landlords that might not be doing repairs. They help folks, representing folks in like fair hearings. So they're extremely important to what we do here at POTS. Usually we have Hamilton sitting here, Loami. So Hamilton and Loami, they are the mentors. They're the ones that really provide that backbone as far as like figuring out what else can we do, not just apply for benefits. And then Jay Escobar, he's the workforce development manager. He's the one that works closely with Hamilton and with Loami, because obviously if somebody's looking for a job, right, they're also going to be looking for some stability. Our ultimate goal is always the client, like focus on the client and making sure that they're getting that access, and that's what we're here for, right, for them.
Well, I can remember not too far away from here, at the Metro North train station. That's where I spent my first night, homeless, directly right under that dome. I maybe caught an hour-and-a-half nap, if you will, and that nap was broken up into segments like 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, because you don't sleep in an environment like this. I was working club security like 4 nights out the week. So even though I was homeless, okay? I was still able to, maneuver and et cetera, so forth and so on. I had places that I can go to, take a shower here, change your clothes there. Here, let me put this in your refrigerator, let me come by and cook real quick, you know what I'm saying? Then, some people will allow me to spend the night or a couple of days, whatever.
He was actually referred to me by Chris and Tina downstairs, so they would work with him on a daily basis. And they thought maybe he could be somebody that could maybe just benefit from working with me and just the mentoring program.
People dropped in on the island of, shall we say, homelessness in different ways. Some dropped in by parachute. Some plummeted in while leaping out the plane. Some crash landed. Okay, we all got on this place of homelessness in different ways. You were a person first. You still are a human being. I really want to stress that, okay? And if you believe in yourself first, and then believe in some sort of higher power, it will lighten the load. Yes, there's going to be stumbling blocks. You're going to make 5 steps forward and you're going to get knocked 2.5 steps back. Do not let that deter you. I cannot stress this enough. These tears that you see coming out my eyes are actually tears of joy.
The first few steps were just kind of creating a safe space for him to just be able to express himself, just kind of work through a lot of what he was just, feeling and going through. And then once we got, started developing the rapport, we started identifying what were the next steps, like getting his shelter, getting his benefits that he's entitled to as a veteran, and just making sure that he has those essentials. But just the shelter stuff was a journey on its own, just to convince him to go.
The acronym POTS, P-O-T-S, part of the solution, whoever came up with that, they're geniuses. It's just nothing like, I'm not even gonna pull them out, but the keys, the little 3 keys I have, it's a gold mine. It's just so precious. I mean, it's just, priceless.
So that was the first time he had a key to his own home in just a very long time. I would have to say maybe a year or 2 minimum. So that really just gave him a sense of stability, security, something he hasn't had in such a long time.
To walk into the house and say, well, all this that's going on, I could just literally I'm gonna leave the outside world behind me, okay? I'm just gonna, and don't get me wrong, there's still, just because you get an apartment, life is not going to be peaches and cream. You're still gonna have, oh my goodness, this is due, oh my goodness, I have a half a loaf of bread, 4 slices of cheese, you know what I'm saying? And maybe 2 slices of bologna. Well, just make you some bologna. Oh my goodness, and guess what? I only have enough mayonnaise to make, put on half of 1 slice of bread. Hey, that's better than nothing. You're not in this alone. If you know who to reach out to, and this is one of these places that, yes, you should definitely reach out to.
Welcome everyone to the inaugural POTS Gala update. POTS has been busier than ever so far in 2021. In the first quarter alone, we have served more than 536,000 pantry meals, and while adhering to strict quarantine protocols, have provided 200 clean showers to our clients. To put that into perspective for everyone, that's 194 more showers than my college roommate took during the semester we lived together freshman year. Of course, he's a Jersey Shore County Commissioner now, so how important is daily hygiene? Actually, pretty important. I might need to call him if I can get on his schedule. So what a year it's been. The New York Times said the best thing you can do for yourself after you turn 40 is get a dog and drink red wine. And during a pandemic, I recommend adding beer, bourbon, cupcakes, whatever you need to be extra healthy. Nobody has ever been more prepared for a pandemic than yours truly. I have OCD, so my superhero power has always been sensing microscopic germs in public places. So the last 14 or 15 months have been really pleasant on my end. I spent a fortune and decades in therapy fighting OCD, and then all of a sudden, now it's okay to wash your hands all day long. I'm also a little bit of a prepper. So I was ready when COVID hit. I'm ready for everything. If the Russians zap the power grid, I've got a solar charger. Actually, I have 3 solar chargers, and 2 of them come with lights. I've got everything that you need. I have a machete for some reason, which is odd for someone who lives in Manhattan. It was a very thoughtful Hanukkah gift, though. Thank you, Aunt Ruth. All right, I've got weird ropes. I've got glow sticks, crank flashlights. I've got these little fire stick things that make sparks. I have 3 or 4 of these, and one of them actually comes in a knife, and you're supposed to do this kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know why I need all this stuff. This is clearly for someone tougher than me. The most dangerous thing I do is go to Zabar's by myself on Saturday mornings. And by the way, you should have seen the looks I got at the tennis center in Central Park when I took this out last week. I told the responding officers, I'm just being prepared. I don't know why I need all this stuff. I also have a multi-tool. This is very important. I actually have 3 multi-tools of varying sizes depending on my outfit that day. This one must be for picnics because it has I think it's like a pate knife. So I guess during the next disaster, when some animal is spreading foie gras with his hands on a cracker, I will have my multi-tool with the pate knife. I will be ready and as genteel as George Clooney. I mean, I've gotten a little carried away with it. I got enough gum to get me through a morning if we have some trouble. I've got a crank radio. I can wear this light here in case I need to fix the boiler in my building or call someone who actually knows how to do that. The key to this is redundancy. You need backups for your backups. That way you can tell yourself you're better prepared than everybody else. And that's where true success comes. It comes from judging yourself against others. I even picked up a life straw. With this thing, they claim you can safely drink the liquid that collects along the walls of a pigsty. I don't spend a lot of time in pigsties or barnyards, but in my younger days, I did go to a rave once in Greenpoint at an abandoned warehouse, and we could have used this thing because I don't know what we drank. Tonight, we are honoring 2 wonderful people who have given so much of themselves to help people. Chris Bean, POTS former executive director, is receiving the Founders Award for Distinguished Service. I first met Chris years ago at another POTS benefit. You can see in the picture. And in fact, I think we have a little audio of our conversation that night. Will you get off my back? I promise I will talk to the board. We're going to honor you. I don't know when. How about 2021? That should be a pretty normal year. Okay. All right. You didn't, wait, you weren't recording that while I was, true story. Not really. Maureen Gomez is receiving the POTS Heart of Gold Award, which makes sense because Maureen is the leader and the heart and soul of POTS Thanksgiving and Christmas meals. She and her team prepare truckloads of delicious food for our clients to enjoy during the holidays. I give her credit because I just went fly fishing with my buddy and his sons. And after 2 days of making lunch for everybody, I was like, someone else is going to have to take over sandwich duty because this is getting exhausting. I do need some energy left for fishing. I'm Dave Goldstein. I hope you've enjoyed our first POTS update. Congratulations to Chris and Maureen on their very well-deserved honors. And thank all of you for your support of POTS. It really is a very special place.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie Rule, and I'm honored to be with you tonight as we raise awareness about our neighbors in the Bronx experiencing poverty and the work of POTS, part of the solution, which helps people move out of crisis to stability and ultimately self-sufficiency. The POTS story is the result of literally thousands of individuals, volunteers, board members, staff, and supporters like you, all working together to make these miracles possible, and motivated by the POTS mission to build a loving community in the Bronx that nourishes the basic needs and hungers of all who come to its door. While all of these people are dedicated to this work, once in a while, someone comes along who goes above and beyond, who lights up the entire community with inspiration. They are the POTS heroes, and it is my distinct privilege tonight to introduce you to 2 of them. We will honor them with special awards. First, we present the POTS Founders Award for Distinguished Service to our own Chris Bean. Former executive director of POTS, a graduate of Boston College and a CPA, Chris joined POTS back in January of 2008 as Director of Finance and Operations, and he became executive director early in 2012. During his first years at Potts, he played a central role in directing a $6 million capital campaign that resulted in the beautiful building that we know as the home of Potts today. He wasn't just involved in the design and construction of the building, he led the planning process for bringing Potts services into the expanded facility. As executive director, Chris led Potts through a period of growth and change. During his tenure, Potts enlarged its capacity to serve more clients facing hunger, homelessness, and health crises on the pathway to greater stability. Throughout, it was Chris's belief in people's ability to transform their own lives with the support of their community that drove his work at Potts.
I learned so much from him about how to be a good manager, be a good leader, how to run an organization as complex as Potts, how to think about all of the issues from how to make it a loving community to also making it a community where everything is measured and we figure out how to make it better and improve it every single day.
Chris was one of those people that he always cared about. It wasn't about, let's not just do it. Let's make sure that we were going to be the best at what we did.
When he first came to Potts, he wasn't the executive director. He came in to help with financial stuff here. He played a huge role in was the financing that led to the purchase and renovation of this building that we're in now.
When Chris Bean came along, he allowed us to become the new Potts. He allowed foundations listen to him. He knew how to talk to them. The city helped us, and so Chris was just the right guy at the right time for Potts.
Chris is a wonderful guy. He's a Boston College graduate, and he is definitely a strong leader. He is a consensus builder. He's got a heart of gold. He's very bright as well. So for us, he was sort of the perfect solution at the time.
When I first came to Potts and was able to interview with Sister Mary Alice, it felt like this is a place where I could take whatever talents I have and try to apply it into helping people, right? And to not just feel like I'm cutting a check or not just feel like I'm spending a few hours. It almost felt like this is the kind of place that I feel needed and that I feel like I can row the boat with people that want to go in the same direction as me and really feel like I can have an impact. So when I first came to Potts, it was almost like I felt selfish about it. Like, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because I have this need that I need to fill, and that's kind of how I got through the door. Potts had this really strong soul, like these great people, this great spirit. It's like the opposite of the DMV line. You kind of felt like you just hit a person and say, sorry, can't help you, next. And Potts felt like this organization where people saw the other person, saw the humanness in it. And that's what was there at Potts, and it was so strong. I also think that if you can't measure it, you don't know how well you're doing. So how can we measure and figure out, if our goal is to kind of have these types of interactions and also to try to help move people out of poverty, how can we measure it? How can we get better at it? How can we learn, it's not really working, or we're really kicking butt on this and let's do more of this? So I really felt like the way I could help contribute to the organization was maybe instilling some of this, the quantitative aspects to the things that were so strong already, which was the qualitative, right? Potts nailed that. It's nailed it for 40 years. And I felt like this is an opportunity for me to, all right, let's also, when the rubber hits the road, see how well we're doing and how can we improve on that. I really feel fortunate that I got to carry that torch for as long as I did and participate in that way. And I'm also really excited by what I see as the growth of Potts. I see now Christina Hansen has done a remarkable job. I mean, she's doing things at Potts that I could only ever have dreamed of. And so I'm so impressed with how Potts responded to the pandemic. And I'm also really impressed by just their laser-like focus on keeping the spirit, but also really trying to have a major impact in helping people get out of poverty. Open your hearts up to Potts, open your wallets up to Potts, open your time up to Potts, because it's something that can pay you back in spades. And I would say get involved in it and contribute to this mission and the spirit that's greater than any individual.
Now I'd like to introduce another POTS hero, Maureen Gomez. Maureen has lived in Rye with her husband Victor, her 3 sons Ethan, Victor, Andy, her dog Oliver, and a flock of backyard chickens, that's right, chickens, for the last 19 years. Prior to transitioning to full-time motherhood, Maureen was a private banker in the Latin American divisions of both Citibank and Merrill Lynch. She graduated from Skidmore College with a double major in business and Spanish. Beyond these achievements, Maureen has always been passionate about eradicating food insecurity and promoting educational advancement for children from economically challenged backgrounds. As parishioners of the Church of the Resurrection in Rye, Maureen and her family learned about the church's long-standing relationship with POTS, and so early on they got involved with the annual Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday feasts, in which literally hundreds of people spend days preparing home-cooked foods, then serve an enormous holiday banquet to as many as 600 Bronx residents who live near POTS. 8 years ago, Maureen was asked to take over as coordinator of these big events, and under her leadership, the holiday program has grown in scope and popularity and has become a shining example of the incredibly important role played by volunteerism at POTS. Because of her selfless dedication to others, Maureen is a true POTS hero and the perfect recipient of the POTS Heart of Gold Award.
I was saying I would not get emotional when I'm talking about her because she's such an awesome person in and out, just a beautiful soul. She's a sister, she's a friend, she's a colleague, you know, encourages, you know, always encouraging people to do more, just that smile, you know.
Maureen is the ultimate can-do person.
So warm, energetic, organized, but really has that mission and that vision of doing good and giving back.
Maureen deserves this in such a big way. I mean, to do what Maureen does, I mean, not only at POTS, but all the different commitments that she's got, and then family commitments, it's amazing. I mean, Heart of Gold doesn't even say enough.
She has been just a warrior and a champion of you know, our Thanksgiving and Christmas traditions down in the Bronx, where the numbers are immense.
We have to elevate someone who is doing it and who has done it and who continues to do it, sacrifice everything. And I'm going to talk about her because I've been there many years to see the sacrifices she's put in, you know, for this to continue working.
I feel extremely blessed. That's what I will say. And I've always been raised in an environment where you pay it forward. And that's something that I've tried to instill in my kids since they were younger, and they have clearly been involved in the POTS events since they were toddlers, as so many other parishioners here. But you know, I don't feel special at all. I just feel that when you see that there are inequities, you wanna right the ship a little bit. This is something that people, they just slate into their Thanksgiving and their Christmas. So this event started a few decades ago, actually almost 4 decades ago, as just a very small event. Let's feed a few folks who did not have food for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and also to give the employees at POTS a chance to rest because they're serving 365 the year. So on Thanksgiving and Christmas, the fact that our parishioners do the serving and the providing allows the POTS team and staff to take 2 very well-deserved days off. The mission of POTS, sort of meeting people where they are, and always remembering that there's a person underneath the need. I think that resonates a lot to our parishioners as well. We live less than 10 miles away from the Bronx, and for there to be such abject poverty and food insecurity and folks who are fighting just to stay in their home, such a short distance from where we live, which one would say in the land of plenty here in Westchester County, it resonates with them. People get impassioned about doing something that is clearly an injustice in their mind. So I think that we have a wonderful collaboration with the mission of POTS and Resurrection parishioners. We need to do a better job with raising awareness at Resurrection about the work that POTS Webster Avenue does for those other 363 days of the year. They need money, so it's my hope that videos like this can educate the Resurrection community about the need for funding, for POTS to be able to serve so many folks. And believe me, through the pandemic, they have served millions of meals. They need money to do it. So it is my hope that the Resurrection community can come through with not just food donations, but also with dollar donations to support the work that POTS does for those other 363 days of the year.
Thank you, Chris Bean, and thank you, Maureen Gomez. You are true POTS heroes. You both take the idea of creating a loving community seriously. And when we all do that, it is no longer a crazy idea. Tonight's event would not be possible without the generous support of our sponsors and major donors. Here are the names of the generous individuals and institutions who have made financial and in-kind contributions during the Open Door, Open Hearts campaign, as well as over the past 12 months to help us meet the special challenges of the pandemic. I also want to give special thanks to the key sponsors of tonight's event: Sitnalta Construction Corporation, TAP Electric, Barbara and Terry Feeney, Philip and Nicole Hadley, Marianne and William Kelly, Mary and Mark Miller, Katie and Keith Pagnani, Susan and Keith Schultes, Lisa and Mark Walsh. Thank you so much. And if you have not yet done so, why not think about your gift tonight in support of POTS efforts? The food, services, programs, and expertise your gift will make possible will communicate your kinship with your Bronx neighbors. Now, don't go anywhere. There's much more to come. We'll hear from U.S. Congressman Adriano Espaillat. We'll be entertained by Juilliard's Meloman Quartet, and we'll meet an inspiring woman who had every reason to just give up, but whose life was changed because of POTS. But first, I'd like you to meet a young man by the name of Jake Souza, who has an entrepreneurial talent well beyond his young years and has turned his creativity into a unique way to help be part of the solution.
Hi, I'm Jake Souza. I'm 11 years old and I'm the proud owner of Jake's Cakes. Jake's Cakes is a business I made when one of my brother's friend's moms, who's a store owner in town, asked me to make a product for a store. That product was hot chocolate bombs, and I started expanding my business since.
How are you?
Good.
What do you have for me?
So I just have a few bombs.
Oh, they look great.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay.
I love cooking and baking. I kind of started it during COVID because everyone was in quarantine, nothing to do, stay in your house, no playing with friends. I started baking and cooking, and it ended up being a lot of fun for me.
He was beyond adorable. He came in like full-on Shark Tank mode, brought steaming hot milk with him, poured it over the hot chocolate bomb to show us how it was, and spoons and cups, so we had to taste it. And they were amazing. And it was the cutest thing. All the girls, we were like, oh my God, he's just so smart and such a good kid.
So I go to POTS every Christmas and Thanksgiving to serve. I love doing it because it's a nice chance to make people's day a better day. And it makes my day a better day because I know I'm helping people in need. So it's just a fun thing I like doing with my family.
For them to be involved in helping others and to know what that feels like and to interact with people that are different than the people that they maybe run into on a daily basis. That's really important for growing kind, well-rounded, educated children who will hopefully be kind, thoughtful, helpful adults.
You know, I'm really impressed with Jake that he wants to give half of his profits back to POTS. I think that's really wonderful, and it's a lesson that we can all learn from an 11-year-old. It's amazing.
I know I am growing up in a family who can afford more than other people, and I am very thankful for that, and I know I can help other families who can't afford all the stuff I can. And I can do this by donating some money from what I've made and giving it to the less fortunate. And that just puts a smile on their faces and puts good thoughts into my head. So.
Hi, this is Congressman Adriano Espaillat,
And I want to congratulate Potts, part of the solution, for your great work in the Bronx. Right there on Webster Avenue, you provide so great service to people that are hungry. You feed the hungry, first with a soup kitchen and now with warm food. You were so instrumental and helpful during the pandemic. That's why we fight to increase funding for SNAP and other programs that help you do your work. Thank you once again, Potts, for the great work that you do, saving lives, helping people, helping children and families across New York City, but very much in the Bronx.
March 2020, I believe it was on the 8th, I came home to a lock on my door. And I was devastated, of course. I didn't know what to do. I got up the next morning, went to court, tried to put the slip in. The court told me no way they can give me a stay. They no way. You got to come up with the money. I said, okay.
Charlene came to us in early March. She had been evicted in early March, and she was going around to different organizations in the Bronx to try to get support so that she could raise the money needed to get back into her apartment.
I said I'm going to fight for the apartment. I'm going to still look for the job. I still went on the job interview while I was going through this court thing. Every day I was trying to fight this stuff, and many days, I tell you the truth, I was losing the faith. And I'm ashamed to say that I was losing my faith because I thought that God closed the door on me. I thought it was the end. I really did. I didn't know how somebody can go from everything to nothing. I didn't realize that I had to go through something to get to something. So I called Potts. Potts told me to come in. And then they told me that I had to wait for an appointment. And I told them, no, I can't wait for an appointment because the next day I was going to court.
Our legal team met with her on an emergency basis and provided a letter in support of her application and a packet of information. And with that support, she was able to get her order to show cause signed, which is critical because once someone's been evicted, their apartment can be re-rented and the chances of getting back go way, way down. So you have to act very quickly in a post-evict posture.
And Beth said, no, that's okay. That's okay. I kept grabbing her hand. I kept saying, that I, give myself to everybody. But when I needed help, nobody was there. But Beth was there. I know that Beth couldn't have did it without, but people take their job for a job. But Beth take her job because she loves us. I really, truly believe she loves us.
What we specifically did for Charlene is we were able to advocate with HRA to approve an arrears grant. We were able to give her a grant ourselves from private funds that we receive, and we were able to advocate with Homebase, I believe it was, to give her a grant. And no one can give a grant unless it's going to resolve the situation. So you have all these moving pieces, and you have to kind of tie it up and be like, okay, now we're here. This is how we can resolve this.
Now we're going through a pandemic. This is when we get right into the pandemic. This is the 8th. I got put up March 8th. Make a long story short, March the 25th, I got put back in my apartment. And then I got a phone call. Start work tonight. And where is that? In a shelter. I became the CCW March 25th, and then July, I became the director. And ever since, I've been helping my ladies. I've been telling them my story and trying to influence somebody. I don't know what journey God got me on, but I'm loving it.
Hi, we're the Mellow Mind String Quartet.
We are honored and privileged to be able to perform for the Part of the Solution Benefit Gala and contribute to their mission in aiding the underprivileged living in the Bronx.
Organizations like POTS have been leading efforts for people to not only survive but also recover from the global pandemic.
On the 100th anniversary of Piazzolla, please enjoy our performance of Libertango.
Hi again. I want to thank everyone who contributed their time and talents to making this show possible, but especially you for being a part of our audience. I hope you were as inspired as I was by the program, and if so, please make a generous contribution right now if you have not already done so. This website will remain open for several more days, so please invite friends to watch the program too. And we'll keep the silent auction open until 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, May 27th, so you can place your final bids. It was a pleasure spending this time with you. On behalf of everyone at POTS and its loving community, thanks so much for joining us. Have a wonderful evening.
I don't know. I don't think it's not working. I think we need to be closer to the sun. I got to get closer, maybe closer to the equator. Does POTS have a branch in Brazil? I don't know, my phone's done. Tony, can we just plug this in somewhere?